Hello everyone, my name is Kendra Stenberg. Welcome to my channel. This is Euro Update, a series of videos where I read and comment the headlines about the latest European affairs. Today I'll be reading and discussing the unfortunate, heartbreaking and disturbing event that happened earlier this morning, which is the huge earthquake in Turkey and Syria. I'll be reading the updated version of events from an article found in Reuters. Let's get right into it. A huge earthquake killed more than 2,400 people across a swathe of Turkey and northwest Syria on Monday, with freezing winter weather adding to the plight of the many thousands left injured or homeless and hampering efforts to find survivors. The magnitude 7.8 quake brought down whole apartment blocks in Turkish cities and piled more devastation on millions of Syrians displaced by years of war. The worst tremor to strike Turkey this century, it came before sunrise in harsh weather and was followed in the early afternoon by another large quake of magnitude 7.7. "It was like the apocalypse," said a Syrian man in the northern town of Atareb. "It's bitterly cold, and there's heavy rain, and people need saving." The second quake was big enough to bring down more buildings and, like the first, was felt across the region, endangering rescuers struggling to pull casualties from the rubble. In southeast Turkey, a woman speaking next to the wreckage of the 7-story block where she lived said, "We were shaken like a cradle. There were 9 of us at home. 2 sons of mine are still in the rubble. I am waiting for them." End quote. She was nursing a broken arm and had injuries to her face. The earthquake was the biggest quake recorded worldwide by the U.S. Geological Survey since a tremor in the remote South Atlantic in August 2021. In Turkey, the death toll stood at 1,541 deaths, the vice president of the country said. At least 928 people were killed in Syria, according to figures from the Damascus government and rescue workers in the northwestern region controlled by insurgents. Poor internet connections and damaged roads between some of the worst-hit cities in Turkey's south, homes to millions of people, hindered the efforts to assess and address the impact. Temperatures in some areas were expected to fall to near freezing overnight, worsening conditions for people trapped under rubble or left homeless. Rain was falling on Monday after snowstorms swept the country at the weekend. It is already the highest death toll from an earthquake in Turkey since 1999, when a tremor of similar magnitude devastated the heavily populated eastern Marmara Sea region near Istanbul, killing more than 17,000. President Tayyip Erdogan, who is preparing for a tough election in May, called it a historic disaster and the worst earthquake to hit Turkey since 1939, but said authorities were doing all they could. Everyone is putting their heart and soul into efforts, although the winter season, cold weather, and the earthquake happening during the night makes things more difficult, he said. In Syria, already wrecked by more than 11 years of civil war, the health ministry said 538 people have been killed and more than 1,326 injured. In the Syrian rebel-held northwest, emergency workers said 390 people had died. The Norwegian Refugee Council said the earthquake would only add add to the suffering of millions of Syrians already enduring a humanitarian crisis due to the civil war. In the Syrian rebel-held town of Jandaris in Aleppo province, a mound of concrete, steel, and rods and bundles of clothes lay where a multi-story building once stood. There were 12 families under there. Not a single one came out. Not one, said a thin young man, his eyes wide open in shock and his hands bandaged. EU member states have been helping Turkey. In a statement published by the European Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operations, in an immediate response, the European Union has mobilized search and rescue teams for Turkey following its request to activate the EU Civil Protection Mechanism. Urban search and rescue teams have been quickly mobilized from Bulgaria, Croatia, Czechia, France, Greece, Hungary, Malta, the Netherlands, Poland, and Romania to support the first responders on the ground. Italy, Spain, and Slovakia have offered their rescue teams to Turkey as well. The EU's Emergency Response Coordination Center is in direct contact with the authorities in Turkey to coordinate further support if needed. The EU's Copernicus satellite system has also been activated to provide emergency mapping services. The EU is also ready to support those affected in Syria, which has also reported casualties through its humanitarian assistance programs. Our thoughts are with all those who have lost loved ones and the brave first responders working to save lives. Last time I checked, 15 member states have been sending help to Turkey amidst this disaster. And I'm sure more member states will be sending as the number of the death toll keeps on increasing. I'll start by saying that my prayers are with the people of Turkey and Syria in this difficult time. No one deserves this. It's just it's awful. This event does have a bit of a bright side. It tends to show the best of humanity, which is helping one another in dire times, and the messages of solidarity from all over the world have been proving that. If you wish to help the peoples of Turkey and Syria, you can do so via different international charities which have been promoting their links for donations, including the Turkish Red Crescent. This marks the end of the video. If you liked it, please subscribe so you won't miss out on future uploads. Sources will be found in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and God bless you all.